Right.
Another big case that just took place that also had a 6-3 vote was Chevron.
Yep.
Now, the Chevron case is a case that not a lot of people know about. If you are like a constitutional law buff, then you'll be familiar with it. If you are,
If you live close to
know,
where Chevron plants are.
yeah, or if you are work for a governmental agency, you may be
Uh-huh.
familiar with it. And essentially, what we need to understand about governmental agencies are the Environmental Protection Agency, the FDA, the all of these
EPA, FDA.
FDA, all of
Yeah.
the FAA, the Federal Trade Commission, all of these things that we are familiar with that bureaucrats essentially run are
Uh-huh.
run by experts who are appointed by the president, right? And so what that means is that uh, a president gets to appoint each president gets to appoint their respective people to function in these capacities, right? And so the rules might change a bit when a new administration appoints new people to be their secretaries or to be a part of their cabinet
Yeah.
to execute in this capacity, but they are all experts in their own right. Uh,
Or at least should be.
or should be, well, yeah, I mean, like the Environmental Protection Agency is going to be run by scientists. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's going to be run by environmentalists.
Mm-hmm.
And and so that's essentially the thing that Chevron decided a long time ago. Essentially, is that uh, Congress and essentially the politicos didn't have the right to essentially tell people uh, what to do within these administrations, because these administrations run themselves, because the people with the knowledge and the expertise in this space uh, are the people running it.
Right.
For example, me as an attorney, it would be like a layperson or a person who may not have, the background that I have with the law and the experience that I have with the law, attempting to interpret for me what we should do as it relates to the law, and attempting to determine for the country what we should do as it relates to the law. In this instance, essentially, what the decision the Supreme Court made in a 6-3 vote again uh, was that they were going to roll this back and take away essentially the the administrative bodies right to make these determinations with their expertise.
Right.
And they were going to essentially they're going to be micromanaged now by people who don't have the same level of competency, or
And so who are those folks?
Congress.
Okay.
Congress is the so uh, now Congress will be essentially in charge of attempting to interpret for the EPA what the EPA should be doing. So when you
Right.
think about things like consent decrees as it relates to water, which is an
Yeah.
issue from Flint to Jackson, when you think about uh, agriculture and
Mm-hmm.
whatever assessments need to be made with growing and regulations and food and drugs and all of these things, these are things now that Congress, instead of making it easier for these processes to uh, be determined, Congress is going to have its hand in it more
Yeah.
now, because the Supreme Court has made the decision to do that. And you can anticipate, I mean, the governmental bodies are already pretty challenging to deal
Mm-hmm.
with with bureaucracy the way that it is, but it's going to be real challenging now with uh, people with, for example, somebody who maybe um, was a it's going to be difficult for a lawyer to be telling an environmentalist what to do. It's going to be difficult for uh, a, a doctor to tell people who work with money what they should be doing,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah. And I get what you're saying about the like the bureaucracy and the difficulties in I mean, for instance, like let's boil it down to where a person encounters bureaucracy.
Mhm.
You're a veteran and you need to deal with folks at the VA. there is an enormous amount of bureaucracy and paperwork that goes along with attempting to access things that you are quote unquote owed
Right.
from your service as a veteran.
Right.
Even with Medicaid and Medicare, you talk about healthcare. So what does it look like for a person to get those benefits? That's bureaucracy, right?
Right.
So
Social
now,
Security.
oh man, I mean, do we still have that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, technically, they still take it out.
Yeah, they still taking it out, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. I do. I know we gonna steal it.
Yeah, that's a whole nother like, you know, I'll drink to that. Tonight's nightcap brought to you by Green Juice and Uncle Near. Shout out to Fun, Sister Fun. Like, she's been killing it on social media. So I look
Phone Weaver.
Yeah, man.